Today we are going to take a look at Razer Blade 14 2021. There is a lot to like, but also a lot more not to like with this one, unfortunately. Fit and finish are both done really nicely. Quality control could be better. On the left side we have audio microphone combo port, USB-C and USB-A port, also Razer 3-pin power supply port. On the right side we have HDMI, USB-A and USB-C port. On the back side we have really nicely designed air vent grills on both sides and also one in the middle, which unfortunately does not have that much of a effect on cooling, but we will check that one later on when we open this machine. On the front we only have status LED and MAC-like cutout for easier lid opening, and as you can guess it, one-handed opening is just fine. I got mine with Ryzen 5900HX and NVIDIA RTX 3070. All Razer Blade 14 models are limited to 100 watt GPUs, so that's that. There's a pretty big display bezel on the bottom. I personally don't like it and it should not be there. Either make it 16 by 10 or make just laptop smaller and eliminate bottom bezel, since we definitely need to move away from this design. When it comes to trackpad, well, this is a second to Apple, to be honest, and at the same time my favorite part of this machine. I wish all Windows machines and especially gaming ones have trackpad as this one. 720p webcam is included, and while image quality is as any other webcam, this one have Windows Hello function, which is really must have these days. Keyboard is nice, but Mac one is still the king. Also, I did have problems with mine where FN12 button did have some cracking noise and felt like it was detached from the frame. Power button is integrated and will know when you accidentally press it from when you really mean it. It works fine and I don't have anything against it basically. On the bottom we have air intake cutouts and rubber stripes on the bottom and top. They are pretty decent size and they will work just fine. Looking at the back side we have some extra air vents on the bottom to help with cooling. My machine did not have any backlight bleeding. Display is really nice, 1440p one with nice color reproduction. Brightness levels are decent and I have no complaints at all. To open this machine we will need to remove 10 screws. Now you will need to push the bottom cover slightly towards back, since there are small notches just above the battery. There were some thermal pads underneath and two of them are especially interesting, which we will discuss in a second. Motherboard layout looks really nice and well thought out, but as you can see there are some terrible flaws, and first of them is fans and their placement and fitment in regards to vapor chamber. To put it simple, there is simply too big of a gap between the two. A lot of people were complaining about whistling noise because of it, but there is even bigger problem here, and that is less efficient cooling, unfortunately. Razer tried to mitigate this with their ghetto solution, I would say, and that is just by slapping some thermal pads to cover this gap. Battery is not that great, but considering the size of this machine, 61 Wh battery is just fine, and I did not expect anything more, to be honest. Just above the battery on the left side there is a SSD slot, and that's the only one in this machine. On the right side we have internal wireless card, which can be replaced if needed, which is great. Now let's get back to my main reason of not recommending this laptop to anyone basically. If you are unable to design cooling properly to avoid this gap between fan and vapor chamber, how can I trust that everything else is well designed and thought out? Well, it's not, and now we came to my next reason, and that is missing hybrid GPU mode. No, it's not missing as there is none. It's just that if you are using your external monitor with Blade 14, it will immediately use NVIDIA GPU instead of iGPU, which will make this machine warmer and it will use more power basically, and it will be louder. Now I'm going to show you some benchmark scores and gaming on this machine while I'm talking about my last and really important problem, at least for me. This machine will not accept anything below 65 watts for charging through USB-C. I tried it with my monitor and 60 watt PD and it did not work at all. Many will say that power delivery is 65 watt and above. Well, it actually is not. My Legion 5, for example, is charging and using those 60 watts just fine. There is a warning that it's not enough to fully utilize power of this machine, but that's just fine. Overall, I like this design and size. Unfortunately, for a machine that costs so much, those flaws were unacceptable, at least not for me. But at the end, it comes to our hard-earned money and them making progress, and without criticism, they will not improve at all. I didn't even want to make this review since I was really disappointed, but I need to be honest and do a bloody review and not make a marketing video for Razers. To add my 5 cents to this conversation, Razer should have made this one with 25 watt Ryzen 5600 and maybe 60 to 80 watt Ryzen 3060 and offer it for a cheaper price, and in that case this machine would make much more sense. But as it is, I do not recommend it at all. If you are still asking yourself why, then wait for my Legion 5 and Legion 5 Pro review and you will definitely understand why. That's all for this one. Please like this video if you liked it, and also don't forget to subscribe since it would mean a lot.